Hello, my friend, and welcome to the 445th episode of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. Today we have multiple author, entrepreneur, Mike Michalowicz. I was on his podcast not too long ago. It was cool catching up with him, even during this COVID-19 shut-in. He is he's a smart dude, moving and grooving, zigging and zagging. We cover the 5 core pillars. The DNA of all small businesses, of all business. Talk about how to find a need and fill it, even when those needs are emerging and shifting as they are right now. Talk about debt. Is there good debt? Is there bad debt? When should you use it? When should you not? And a bunch of other things. So you're in for a treat with Mike. As always, check out theimplementors.com. to continue the conversation. Ask me questions there. It's a free group. And I'm working on a new version of the 30-day sales growth program. I started that way back in 2013 when I was learning membership sites. And now it's the group that I run, but I'm thinking of doing a true 30-day live coaching program. If that is of interest to you, hit me up. I'm going to send an email out to everyone this week. And it's just something to build momentum. It'll be super affordable, but something to stay plugged in, get ideas. As the country starts opening back up, there will be new opportunities. There will be new challenges. And so just want to figure out how to lend a hand to help you do that. So again, if that's of interest, message me. You can email, find me on any of the social media platforms. I'm out there. Twitter, Sales Whisperer. Facebook, the Sales Whisperer. Instagram. So wherever you hang out, you can find me. Okay? So just let me know. And now let's bring on our guest. Mike Michalowicz. I am sure glad you had that little voiceover on your website, so I knew how to pronounce your name.
Oh, you clicked on that?
All the way from New Jersey with your space heater on. Welcome to the Sales Podcast, man. How the heck are you?
I'm good and getting a little bit cooler because my space heater is now off.
Very nice. All right. But I'm going to bring the heat, baby. So, you're going to be opening the window. Your wife's going to think you got a fever. I mean,
let's do it.
COVID-19.
Well, hopefully it's not the COVID, right?
He's going to send you to the tent. Check my husband. So, man. All right, I'm doing some research. You got your own Wikipedia page. Should I call you Mr. Mike?
Oh, please no. Yeah, I do. Yeah, there's a little Wikipedia going on. You know what happens is you speak at a couple of venues. Like I spoke at Harvard, and it wasn't like I spoke to anything significant there. There was like a little entrepreneurs club, and I spoke there. The journalist went to the event, and he posted a little post, and they got on Wikipedia because it was Harvard. So there you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, let me know next time, man. I'll fly out, if they let us ever fly again.
Yeah, exactly. A little Harvard gig. Yeah.
I was ready. I was totally prepared to talk about your new book, Fix This Next. But then I see on your Wikipedia that you wrote The Toilet Paper Entrepreneur, and I'm out of toilet paper, man. I need to discuss that book before we go anywhere.
Yeah, I wrote that book 12 years ago, Wes, and demand is starting to creep up again. So there's a little subconscious thing. People are like, oh, maybe I should get that book. Yeah, it's getting popular again. Go figure.
That's awesome. So, man, you've done a bunch of things. Columnist for the Wall Street Journal, right?
Yeah, I wrote for them for a year.
Business Rescue segment host on MSNBC's Your Business. Wrote a whole bunch
TV
of books.
Gig, yeah.
All kind of shows. And now you got a new book coming out, Fix This Next. Make the vital change that will level up your business. And, it says on the cover, right, author of Profit First and Clockwork. So let's talk about them all, man. I mean, obviously it's good timing. Fix this next. You didn't know this was coming with this whole coronavirus thing, but I got to imagine there's some fundamentals in there that apply in good times or in bad, huh?
Yeah. So, I've been an entrepreneur my whole adult life and became an author, full-time author 12 years ago, looking to find ways to make entrepreneurship more simple, I guess. And I sent an email out to it takes me about 5 years to write a book. So you were talking before we went on, you wrote a 700-page book in like 6 months. Like dude, I can't get like 5 words out in 6 months. That's like unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable. It takes me literally about 5 years of research and testing and writing and rewriting and writing again. And I sent an email out to my readership and said, hey, I'm going to write a new book. I want to know what your biggest challenge is. Real simple question, expecting, sales or marketing. And I accidentally kind of double clicked on the last email I sent out. So the email went out multiple times in the same day. And I got multiple responses, in some cases from the same people, saying that they had different challenges. And this was just hours apart. And that's when it hit me with a ton of bricks. And I concluded, and it's now the thesis for my book, is that the biggest challenge business owners have is knowing what their biggest challenge is. So I wrote Fix This Next to be a system that we can use to pinpoint, like a compass, to pinpoint where you need to go and what you need to do next in your business to get things going in sequence. Most of us are trying to put out all the fires at once, and we live crisis to crisis. So how do we start marching forward to the vision we want? And this is a method to figure out the one thing you need to do now.
Man, I'm working with a guy right now, and a friend of mine sent him to me. And he has Infusionsoft right now. My friend's a long-time Infusionsoft guy, super technical, knows the stuff cold. Has been supporting him for like a year. And but they're kind of grown out of it. And they're considering Salesforce.com.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Salesforce? I said, yeah, I know it well enough. I've used it on and off for 15 years, but I'm not deep into it. But it's a smaller business. I'm like, I can say almost carte blanche, 99.9% certainty. If you're a small business, you don't need Salesforce. It's too big, and I have HubSpot that I would recommend for them in their case. But this guy and his tech genius,
mm-hmm.
they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And we're going round and around, and I'm texting my buddy while I'm on a call, and I'm like, dude, and he says, I warned you. I'm like, you did. So it means I won't kill you. But oh my gosh. Even with a warning, you shouldn't have sent them to me, because they got this shiny object. I mean, we've had 2 calls and they're all over the place, and I'm going to tell them I can't help you. I'm sorry, I can't help you. Because they're just literally every 10 minutes they have a new priority of what they think they need. I mean, how does somebody have the awareness to even know that they need your book to straighten themselves out? I mean, it's hard to look in that mirror.
Yeah, it's very hard to look in the mirror. There's a distinct pattern, and there's actually I think it's a good illustration of it. I write about it in the book, but it's this. You can do it in your mind. If you just draw the letter A on a center of a piece of paper and put a circle around it, and for the letter A, under it, you write crisis or challenge, whatever your business is facing now. Many businesses right now in this moment, it's crisis, right? So A is where you are now. Step 2 is you draw an arrow away in any direction you choose, short distance out of it. And what that action represents is the way out of crisis. Then you draw another arrow in a different direction you're choosing. And you can do it 2 or 3 times. And what this points to is that there's multiple choices we can take right now to get us out of crisis. The final step is you draw a B and put in a circle in the bottom left corner of that piece of paper. And chances are that very few of those arrows, or none of those arrows, point to B. And what B illustrates is the vital need that our business has, the thing that needs to be serviced. But we're not in the mentality of thinking what the business needs. We're saying, what's the problem and what can I do to give me instant relief? So it's this constant instant relief seeking, but the consequence, of course, is long-term agony. So I try to use that illustration to point to people is if you're constantly jumping around, it's because you're escaping crisis or challenge, and you're simply putting yourself in a new challenge. So for most of us, we come in today with a plan, like we're going to finally grow this business, and then we put out a fire, and we put out another fire, and the next day we come back and it's more firefighting. And the perpetual existence of the business is putting out fires. I feel if most people think that hustle and grind is going to make them grow their business, simply ask yourself, how long have you been hustling and grinding it out? And I'll tell you, if it's over a year, it ain't going to work. We got to find a better way. So the goal is we need to pinpoint B. Of course, the question is, what is B? And that's what I talk about, and I can give you strategies to find it. But the question is, first pinpoint where you need to your business to go. And this isn't the big goal you've set. This isn't the vision. This is simply the immediate need the business has to satisfy that vision. And that's what B is. And once we have clarity on it, then any decisions we make to get us out of crisis will give us relief, because we're leaving crisis, but also moves in the direction of point B.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it really, you shouldn't have written this book, man. Because look, the government's printing money, and we're all going to be okay. All right.
Right.
This rugged individualism, I don't really think we need it. Because
no more.
I'm logging in right now, and I'm getting my government check, man. I don't know about you.
You know what's so funny about loans? I am not a fan of loans because we don't consider why we need the loan. So what happens, there's a stampede effect. And, we saw it with toilet paper, Wes. The first guy buys toilet paper and buys a few things. It's a joke. And the second guy does it. And all of a sudden, there is this herd mentality. There's a guy in our town, supposedly, who has a garage full of toilet paper, a 50-year supply. His challenge now is to get dehumidifiers and a security guard monitoring his toilet paper. I mean, it is bizarre. But it's this herd mentality. And we see this as an example in business around loans. The government comes out and says, we're giving loans, and people are like, oh, free money, go there. That's going to save me. Well, if you need money, the question is, why do you need money? And that's the thing we need to fix. Do we have a sales problem? Many people actually don't have a sales problem right now. It's more of a profit control problem, cutting costs, amplifying margins, working with products that work, jettisoning the ones that don't. That's usually the problem. But people are running to these loans. And the problem, of course, with the loan is now you get money, and be very careful. I have a business. We have 450 accountants in our business. So I get this updated to the minute. The law still is not clear on if certain monies will be granted and to you or not. You may have to return that money plus interest. And even the interest rates are in question. The documents for the CARES loan and the PPP, they are actually the own text in that document is in conflicts with other text. So the document isn't even legible on what the direct action is in the specific action. So these businesses are taking loans or trying to get loans like mad. And if they get funded, all they've bought is now a bridge over a gaping wound or a Band-Aid. They're going to stick it on, and they're going to feel good for the next month or two, and then they're going to hit this exact same cliff with the additional exacerbation of having to pay a loan back. So I'm not saying loans aren't appropriate. There's certain circumstances, they call debt leveraging, debt bridging. It's appropriate. But we're doing what's called debt anchoring. We're putting a noose around our neck, and it's pulling us under. So be very careful around that. Yeah.
Well, can we get your book? Was 535, right? Got 435 congressmen and 100 senators. Can we get that
over to them?
Book?
Yeah.
I think they're just jumping from problem to problem.
Oh, they totally are. It's total. Yeah. It's a total panic to put out fires. We need deliberate action. And here the irony is, the backbone of the global economy is small business. So guys like you and everyone listening and me, we're the ones who support 50% of employment in the U.S. at least. It's pretty true internationally too. And the irony is we've proverbially been punched in the face by the world. We got a bloody nose, black eye. And as the world's punching us in the face, it says, you got to save me. And so we're in this crippled position now, having to step up and save the economy. But if small business goes by the wayside, which it won't, I know people will step up. It won't. But if it does, then we're in for a real storm of crap.
Well, I think, and I hope, but I think we're going to see a competition between states to open, because we're recording this on the 16th, and I just saw before we went live here, Ohio said they are opening May 1st. So you're going to start seeing states compete, Democrat and Republican, who can be the first and blah, blah, blah. So if they'll get out of the way, the entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well. Well, yes. It's alive and simmering. It's
yeah. But I also believe this is the ultimate entrepreneur's petri dish, because consumer needs are shifting so fast. So there will be entrepreneurs who reinvent themselves and position themselves in new ways, who are of service in a new way. And we see out of every recession that the strongest companies come out of that. If I'm not incorrect, Google, Amazon have come out of recessions. But if we rewind in history, Ford, Hewlett-Packard, Procter & Gamble, companies that still exist today came out of recessions, because you have to satisfy the new shifting need. And I think it's possible for all of us. We have to be creative. I was talking with DJs last night. I'm talking with a lot of different groups, and DJs are, done. And we started talking. I said, how can we not be done here? And one idea that a DJ is executing on is he called the town and said, listen, our town's closed for business. Why don't we have me, the DJ, go to cul-de-sacs in different areas, and I'll crank up the music. Kind of like in our area when Christmas time comes around, they have the Santa Claus riding on a fire truck.
Yep.
When I do that, get people dancing in their yards so we have social distancing. And then he's monetizing it. He reached out to the few restaurants that are open and delivering food and said, do you want to sponsor me? And I'm going to do a 15 or 20-minute dance gig, and then I'll announce that this was sponsored by your restaurant, and I'll go all around town doing this. So there's a new way to monetize it, and it's supported by the town because they want to show that enthusiasm. They want to show that the town is moving forward. So I think there's opportunity everywhere, but we have to dig deep.
Yeah. You got to be willing to dig, and you got to have your eyes open, huh?
You got to have your eyes open, yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people, woe is me, or, it's going to go back to normal. It's like, this ain't going back to normal.
Yeah.
LA's already talked about, they're extending it through May 15th. California governor saying it could be like a year or two before large group events come back. Like what? So
I know
it's going to impact a lot of people. You can cry about it. You can bemoan the fact or go, all right, here's the new normal,
Yeah. Exactly. Or you start moving on it. I mean, I am bemoaning the fact that football is going away. I am a college football fanatic.
I'm a college football fan.
Okay. So I already got my tickets for the big game. I can't see it in here.
Go Tigers, and I played for Air Force.
Oh, Tigers. Nice. As in LSU or as in okay.
Yeah, I'm from Baton Rouge originally.
Oh, beautiful. So I'm a Virginia Tech fan. You guys are slightly better than us. You just happen to have Coach O there. But college football is just one example. As these gatherings are done, and they're saying, if anything, they may be able to do the games with no attendance. So there's going to be a new normal. But the question is, what does this spawn? Well, this spawns massive opportunity for home celebrations and getting the fans, going home, and then maybe doing virtual events where we can see each other and celebrate together. Because a sporting event, there's certain things that you need a gathering. A wedding, a wedding is not the same when people can't see each other. A sporting event is not the same when you don't have the roar of the crowd. So what this is going to spawn is ways for people to connect in new ways. So it's going to be tough, but I think there's opportunity.
Yeah. I saw Taiwan start at baseball again. They have fan cutouts and robots that are cheering.
No, really?
Yes, I just saw it yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Hey, on the flip side, and I'm not totally opposed to this, that maybe people wake up and realize sports ain't all that. I mean, it's nice. It's important. I played, my whole life. I still compete in jiu-jitsu. I mean, I love it. But, man, I think we got a little bit of crazy, bread and circus as a country, almost as a world, right? People so worked up about things, and, they can't save any money, but they can spend $800 for a family of four to go to a football game on a weekend.
Yeah. No, this will definitely change our perspective of things. And I see some very healthy things coming out of it. I love the stories I see about families hiking and walking and talking and playing yard games. We actually have a mini barbecue, just our immediate family, on this Saturday coming up. We're going to get the smoker going and make some nice steaks. And we're going to be playing Can Jam or whatever that's Frisbee thing. It's interesting how it's triggering people to leave just the digital arena and actually get back out there. It's kind of ironic because it's forcing us to go more digital, but it's also triggering us to get away from digital. It's an interesting phenomenon.
Yeah. Cool, man. So what should people be doing? I mean, what's like a pointer, we don't want to give the book away, but what can they do as a result of listening to this? I like the A in the middle, draw some arrows, B in the bottom left. Things probably aren't pointing there. Where, because your book's coming out. So when we go live with this, your book will be out.
And you can April pick it 28th. On up. So once we know we have to move toward B, how do we find B, of course? Yep. Well, we do it based upon, I call it the DNA of all business. So I studied businesses of all types, from the most basic pizza shops to manufacturers, a $75 million manufacturer I was investigating, to accounting professionals and lawyers, and you just name every business. What I found, I've concluded, is there's a common DNA, and it's based upon ultimately 25 principles, but there's 5 core pillars, if you will. And it kind of translates, actually it does translate to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The 5 levels of needs are this in a business. Foundationally, every business needs sales. And sales is the creation of cash. No cash is the oxygen for your business. Your business is suffocating, will die. Then above that, though, once we have a degree of sales coming in, we must achieve profitability on those sales. So profitability or profit is the creation of stability for an organization. I have a great friend who had a business, and the important variable there is had. It's a $250 million company, which of course is heralded for its size, hundreds and hundreds of employees, all these big projects, but they had a great sales foundation. They didn't really master profit, clearly, because they had one project that went awry and they couldn't recover financially. It actually bankoed the company. They went bankrupt on one error because they had a big foundation with a tiny tool shed of profit above it, and it fell in. So these work relationally. The next level above profit is called order. Order is the creation of organizational efficiency. It's where there's no dependency on specific employees, particularly the owner themselves. If you're carrying the business on your back, you do not have a business that can run without you. And that's the goal. So that happens at the order level. Once that's achieved, the next level in this structure is impact. Impact is the transformation or delivery of transformation. It's where you're beyond transactions in your business and you're transforming people's lives. And the highest level is legacy, which is the creation of permanence. And what was so interesting as I was experimenting with this and studying businesses is that this is where business owners discover they were never business owners. They were business stewards. They brought something to life, the business itself, and the ongoing entity of the business is actually more important than the owner's involvement in the business. It's about the it. And so how these work, the business hierarchy of needs, is of course that all the elements are playing at times, but it's where we concentrate our energy. And we simply ask ourselves, do we have sales? If we have no sales, you got to fix it. If you do have sales, you ask yourself, is it adequate to support profit? And then what we do is we look at the link. Do we have any profit? If you have no profit and some sales, we actually have a profit problem. If you do have some profit, is it adequate to support order? And we keep on looking at it, it's kind of like building a building. Is this foundation big enough and strong enough to support the levels above it? And we keep on addressing the other levels as we move up. But just like a building, if the foundation cracks, right? If there's a problem in the basement, you don't stay at the top floor. You got to go downstairs and fill in those cracks and repair the foundation. So this is something that we move around this hierarchy. You don't climb it like a ladder.
Right. But I mean, if somebody's drowning, it's like you're giving me instructions on how to build a sailboat, right? It's like, that's fine.
Right, but I just need a life jacket.
But brother, I'm drowning.
Yeah.
So how do we make that change?
Yeah. So in each level, there are specific actions to take. So if you're drowning, that likely means you're not getting any oxygen. You have a sales problem. So then we have to do some iterations, and we look at different categories. Do we have a prospecting issue, meaning we have no people coming in the door, which is true for a lot of people? Conversion issue. We have a thing called lifestyle congruence, which is actually a very core issue many people oversee or miss out on. But for many businesses right now, it's prospecting. And it's really not even prospecting. It's their offering that's matched to prospects. So here's an example. There's restaurants down the street. We implemented Fix This Next with them. And many restaurants have been shuttered by law. So what we did is we used a technique called one step back. And what you do is you look at your historical offering, putting food on the table for someone. And you ask yourself what happens one step back, and you keep rewinding. And you notice that you have an accumulation of small product offerings that can be repackaged now and become your primary offering. So as this example plays out, I put food on the table. What happens one step back before that? Well, we carry food to the table. So carry out and take out is an obvious solution, but you can amplify that. This one restaurant collaborated with a food truck. The food truck is delivering foods to the neighborhood, and the restaurant now is a cooking center effectively. Well, what happens one step before you bring food to the table? Oh, it's the preparation of the food. Well, why not sell your 10 most popular menu items? Or why not give training videos around that? So you have the recipe, but also a training video. Or you can really amplify it and do cooking classes. So do 10 weeks of cooking classes with your patrons, right? The people that came to your restaurant, email them, say, hey, you loved our meals. Why not do this together? Have your chef at the restaurant broadcast it over Zoom. Now you got multiple families engaged in the process. It's a 2-hour experience. They're cooking, they're having fun, and you're actually making more profit than you would have if you made the food for them. What happens one step prior to that? And it's the meats, the vegetables. You can become a Blue Apron for your town and ship out these pre-packaged items for them to cook. And what you'll see in this process of going one step back, every business has a multitude of mini offerings that they're assembling for the final offering. We can deconstruct this and now sell new offerings. That's one way to, if you're drowning, that's one way to get a lifeline.
Yeah. And it's hard. I've always said, it's hard to read the label from inside the bottle.
Yeah. That's funny. Someone said the exact same phrase. I never heard it before until today, and someone said it this morning. It's right.
Well, yeah.
It's right. Yeah, because we're so deep into it, and we're so panicked. So I definitely encourage people to get an outside source, to get a professional advisor that can give you direction, to team up with a coach, or if you can't afford that or aren't ready to do that, just meet up with another entrepreneur that's in a space different than yours, just to get perspective.
Yeah, somebody you trust. Yeah, they don't have to know really anything about your business, and sometimes that's the best. Right?
Yeah,
they're not bringing any preconceived notions or bad habits. They can look at with fresh eyes and go, "Why do you do it that way?"
That's so right. That's so right.
So, I mean, people are there. Just find them. But I've always hired coaches, and it makes a difference. Surround yourself with good people, but you probably don't need 10. I always use the analogy, like when I was learning to play golf, 30 years ago, I mean, I got one golf pro, and I would use them in a year or more. Mm-hmm. So I felt like maybe I grew out of them or wanted to go a different direction, or somebody recommend somebody else, but I didn't take 3 lessons from 3 golf coaches the same day and jack my mind up. It's like, find one and stick with them for a little while.
Yeah, I agree.
So cool, man. Anything I should have asked? Did I leave anything out?
Well, just the one thing I can add, if it's of help to people, is we do have a online evaluation you can take. It's totally free. So it's at fixthisnext.com, right? That's the site. But you go there, there's a clear call to action. It says take the evaluation. It's totally free, no download or anything. You can just examine your business, and it will pinpoint. There's usually 25 core needs that your business has. It'll pinpoint where your likely need is, so you can start taking action. And that evaluation takes less than 5 minutes.
Yep, see it right here. All right, evaluate your biz. Big old red button.
Big old red button.
Gotta like it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, you travel more than me, so I would say if I'm in your neck of the woods, I'll swing by. But more than likely, you'll be my way before.
Yeah, I'll be out there. I'll be out there sometime, hopefully soon. It'd be nice to meet up.
All right, Mike Michalowicz, fixthisnext.com. Thanks for coming on the show, man. It's been great.
Wes, thank you so much.
So I hope you got a lot out of that. He is the real deal. What you see is what you get. That was amazing. Hearing takes 5 years for him to write a book. So it's pretty cool. Wants to make entrepreneurship easy. And I agree. That is his goal. He is doing it. So it was great hanging out with him, getting to know him the last few months where, we've been interacting on a couple of things. So his book is out. I was hoping to have this interview out the same day, but, man, I try. But, I'm not perfect. But you knew that already. But his book is out. So as you hear this, go check that out. Complimentary book is mine, The Sales Whisperer Way, 79stories.info. Get you some of that. Join us on the implementors.com. And if you are interested in a 30-day program, like truly, a call every single day. I'm up to doing a call every day, literally Saturday, Sunday, but maybe we do 30 days, business days. I don't know. I'm open to whatever. Maybe it's 30 straight business days. So, of course, that would spill into probably 45 days to actually get them all in. You throw in weekends and some bonuses, which I always do, which I recommend you do. Over-deliver. ABCDE, attract, bond, convert, deliver a wow experience, delight. So I spent a lot of time on that, the ABCDE sales and marketing system. But, hey, I digress. All right, let me know. Hit me up. Share this on the social media, on the interwebs. Send me a note. Subscribe. Tell your friends, your family, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your spouse, everybody. All right? Thanks for listening. I'll go sell something.